Some people ask, is Taekwondo suitable for the UFC? We know that the emergence of MMA or mixed martial arts as a modern sport cannot be separated from the history of the emergence of the UFC. To questions like that I will answer as, no. UFC players are people with various martial arts backgrounds, not just one. Having a martial arts background in UFC is something that has a small chance of winning. The probability is 1/10. Because every martial art has weaknesses like Taekwondo. If the opponent is a person with basic jiu-jitsu, then he will be overwhelmed to be able to balance his ground fight game. But it cannot be denied that some UFC fighters rely on Taekwondo from various martial arts as the basis for stand fight. Indeed, Taekwondo is overwhelmed to keep up with fighters who have basic martial arts ground fight. But if the moment or situation is right for an attack, Taekwondo can prove that it also has a strong knockout power. This is evident from several UFC players who have basic Taekwondo martial arts able to knock down their opponents using attacks or Taekwondo kick patterns at the right momentum. Indeed, Taekwondo individually is not suitable for fighting at UFC. Taekwondo has excellent kicks and is a great martial art for learning distances and performing sneaky kicks. But by itself it is too limited to compete with Muay Thai or other proven martial arts. If you are a Taekwondo black belt entering the MMA gym, the trainers will salivate to train you and make you more complete, because the quality of your kicks is a rare skill. It's actually a great workout to start your martial arts journey on if you intend to be a threat to possible attackers, and it's also one of the most fun martial arts to practice. UFC fighters are now eyeing Taekwondo kicks as a potential to be combined with other martial arts as a provision in the fight in UFC stand fight. As the name implies, mixed martial art MMA does rely on martial techniques from various genres, but there are 5 types of martial arts that are often used as a benchmark for fighters in the ring. Watching Taekwondo fights non-stop is often boring, but MMA provides its own entertainment because the martial arts backgrounds used are quite diverse. This MMA sport developed over the years by borrowing many fighting styles, so it is often considered a freestyle fight, where a fighter can develop his creative instincts when defeating opponents without being bound by rules. So, what are the most widely used martial arts in the UFC event? I managed to identify the 4 most frequently used types of martial arts apart from Taekwondo. 1. Muay Thai and boxing. Muay Thai. This Thai martial art began to develop in the 18th century, when a Thai fighter named Nai Kanamtan was captured by Burmese Myanmar troops. At that time he defeated 10 Burmese troops in a row, and later his fighting style became known as Muay Thai. Boxing. To become an MMA athlete, you must first learn how to box, because boxing is a fundamental aspect of this sport. Some of the best boxers in the UFC who use one of the best techniques in the octagon: Conor McGregor, Nick Diaz, Nate Diaz, Dominic Cruz, and many more. Judo is also used as a means to prevent falling onto the mat. Fighters who use judo techniques in UFC: Ronda Rousey, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Antonio, Bigfoot, Silva, and so on. 2. Boxing. To become an MMA athlete, you must first learn how to box, because boxing is a fundamental aspect of this sport. Every fight begins with a traditional boxing armor, which of course is modified to suit the needs of MMA. MMA shields are longer and looser than the taller and stiffer ones used in boxing. 3. Wrestling. There is a reason why many top wrestlers succeed in MMA, because they embody the battle in their ruthless greed. Wrestling allows fighters to execute various types of takedowns and dominate play. Wrestling also increases a fighter's level of endurance as it is a physically exhausting activity. Fighters with a wrestling background are known to have an inexhaustible energy that easily lasts for an entire 5-round fight. Popular UFC fighters with the best wrestling: Daniel Cormier, Brock Lesnar, Mark Coleman, and Chris Weidman. 4. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu underscores the importance of basics in combat, so that everyone realizes that smaller fighters can defeat bigger opponents by using BJJ's maze grappling technique. BJJ focuses on body size gains when the fight takes place on the ground. BJJ revolves around the aspect of fighting for one's strength, but more importantly, revolutionizing fighting on the ground in terms of position and attack. Here are some of the best popular BJJ practitioners in the UFC: Fabricio Werdum, Royce Gracie, Anderson Silva, BJ Penn, Nate Diaz, Nick Diaz, and so on. In your opinion, if you are a UFC fighter, what kind of martial arts would you choose as a combination of various martial arts?